All right. Happy Friday, everyone. 8:03. We've got decent critical mass, so let's get started. Today's agenda was primarily go through Workstream updates, and Jawad and I had a New Year resolution that we would try to do this at the end of every calendar quarter this year. I think it really helps, given we have so many work streams, some of them proceeding along beautifully, some of them having a few hiccups, some of them starting new. Would be good to provide everyone an update. And also, if there were issues, we would be able to. Okay. Rajesh, could you go on mute, please? We would be able to collaborate to see how to help and make things better. So before I get started, I'm going to let Cliff, who is here, provide us with any OCP related updates that we should know of.
Well, thanks, Anu. Well, we're headed down the, I guess, last turn, getting ready for EMEA Summit, for those of you that are planning to attend. We do have 2 chiplet-related talks that will be in the IT infrastructure track for EMEA Summit. And we're looking now at about 1,000 attendees in Dublin. A lot of interesting talks going on data centers in general. And the Innovation Village will be pretty full with some very interesting demos. If you are not thinking about EMEA Summit, please think a little bit about OCP APAC Summit, which is going to be 5th and 6th in Taipei City. The website at OCP is up, and you can see we have a pretty good lineup of keynote speakers. We've formed our program committees, and I want to thank Anu and Jawad for joining the program committee. We're planning to have a full day on chiplets and advanced packaging. Stay tuned. The call for papers will be issued probably early next week. And so those of you that are interested in being in Taipei City and potentially presenting, please go ahead and put in an abstract, and we will definitely evaluate it. I think that's it for the moment, unless there's anything else, I don't know, you think that I needed to cover off?
No, I don't have anything else. Is Jawad's on the call. Jawad, is there anything from your end?
No, I think Cliff covered it well.
Okay, sounds good. I am, hopefully you can see my screen. I reached out to all of you, I think over the last couple of weeks. There are issues with some people not being able to make the meeting, so we'll push those updates out to the next Friday, which is the first 2, the D2D PHY metrics and the BOPHI. Kevin will present on April 4th. Shahab, I have some updates from him. So what is the D2D PHY metrics for those who are new to this group? It's basically creation of a fair comparison between PHY and D2D PHY ranging everything from XSR type SerDes all the way to UCIe and bow type SerDes and GUC link and everything in between, right? There's been a couple of solutions that have been more proprietary. Some of them are open. And so this basically says, how do you come up with figures of merit, which everybody agrees to are fair figures of merit, and then have the vendors of these PHY report metrics for those figures of merit so that everybody is on the same page. We're doing a fair comparison. And the idea is we're not trying to promote one PHY or the other. The idea is just to enable a population who wants to pick a PHY to be able to pick a PHY based on a fair comparison. That white paper has been published, and Shahab is looking to organize a workshop. And this workshop would basically allow vendors to come and talk about their PHYs, assuming they agree to the metrics and the figures of merit that have been published in that white paper. We're hoping to do that either the DAC. DAC would be probably the best. So a day, the Thursday after the DAC, but there's a lot of logistics and none of that's been finalized yet. I need to probably work with you, Cliff and Michael, to see what is possible and what funding we have to make that happen. So that's for the DHDAC PHY metrics, and we'll go to that piece when Shahab is able to visit us, and then Kevin will give an update on the bow PHY later. And this is pretty exciting because we're extending the range of that PHY down to lower data rates with Kevin and Cash and Shahab actually for the optics. For everyone else, I have an order of work streams to go through, but I do recognize that some of you may have to leave the meeting early. So if just take a look at this. If you need to leave at a specific time, or you want to go first or you want to go last, send me a quick note on the chat and I can move you up. I remember, I think Rob said he has to leave at the bottom of the half hour. So we could move you after if you start the proof of concept. Javad, is that okay with you? We can move the chiplet system up by one. So just send me a note, but otherwise this is the format we'll follow. If you have slides, greatly appreciate it. If it's just a conversation, great. What we really want to get out here is, the good stuff that's happened, things that you want to do, the problems you're facing, and sort of discuss to see how we can collaboratively try to come up with solutions to move forward. Because I do know some of the groups have issues they're facing in terms of either not enough folks coming into the meetings or just ideas that need to be funded through. So I will stop sharing, and then Javad and is JP on the call? Stop
Yeah.
sharing.
I see JP's name.
Yeah, hi, Anu, I'm in the call. Good morning.
Okay. So would you and Javad like to go first with talking about
I can give a little bit of a background introduction, and then JP can chime in.
Sure, yeah.
So the background of POC, proof of concept workstream, it's one of the first ones that we started with ODSA, and the idea has been to build some reference designs and then make them available to the industry along the way. We have historically built some boards and some software that were contributed as reference designs. One of the challenges in this approach is we need some resources in terms of building the actual device. And at some point, some companies actually paid the bills for the manufacturing. So there has been a little bit of a challenge for us in the last 1 year. Some of the designs were ready, and we were not really able to get sponsorships for manufacturing. So we are now thinking a little bit, pivoting in the direction of an AI POC using some chiplets. and maybe rolling in the concept of chiplet sockets in the next generation of POC workstream. So one thing we want is some community feedback uh, along the lines of, or some brainstorm here. What would the community like to see in the next generation of proof of concept work stream? So that's all for me. JP, you can go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Jawad. Yeah. So yeah, we were actually building a package as well as a board for chiplet interoperability testing, as well as a proof of concept for chiplets. So we'd like to continue that, but as Jawad said, we need more feedback about the package implementations. What would be useful for most people? What we find in the industry is several people are doing, so a lot of companies are doing this again and again by themselves, but I think it'd be good to collaborate on a common platform for let's say chiplet interface validation or chiplet interface, bring up the software associated with it, and even for package development. Right. And last time when I looked at this, we made some progress, but we got actually stuck with the funding part of it. But I think if we come together and define what is required that can be shared across companies, and both hardware and software, the package development purely from a standpoint of chiplet interfaces, I think that'll be a great start. And that's what we are looking at this for the proof of concept POM work stream. Yeah, back to you.
So JP and Jawad, if we are to solicit ideas, should we set up a separate meeting and invite folks who?
So I think we should probably have this as a agenda item in next Friday meeting. And the request I will have for the participants here, please think about it and give us at least one suggestion. Would like to hear from you. If you want to give us any suggestions here, that would be wonderful. So yes, we can send out the same time slot that we have reserved for POC, and we can have a discussion at that time as well to make it more targeted. So, but that would be a different time slot, and we can advertise that one.
I don't know if that's what you just said, Jawad, but I was asking if you have the time for when the work stream meets, so maybe we can join there.
Sure. JP, do you have top of your?
We used to meet on Tuesdays. We can actually start one again if there are a lot of interest.
So I know on the calendar there is a Tuesday time slot, and we'll just send out the information to this email list here. So it will be right now. It's I think around 9 o'clock on Tuesday. JP, correct me if I'm wrong.
So Jawad, I'm looking at the wiki page, and there's a Wednesday 10 a.m. call, which says test package POC with JP. Maybe that's not the same one you're talking about.
No. So what happened was, since this is historical
Yeah.
stuff, it has moved around. So I don't know which invite you may have. So yes, we are probably open to changing the time to accommodate people who are interested in joining. So we can send out a doodle request where people can just poll in what works for them.
Yeah, and I think the key is, people joining in and contributing ideas. It worked out very well for the previous idea that JP executed, and then a bit of a lull since then. So Jawad and I are trying to figure out, is this important for industry? is this important for all the folks who show up? And if it is, how do we take it forward, and who do we collaborate with to get the funding if needed, to move forward? So I think it's important for us to at least understand if it's significant to the members of this community, and if so, how do we get some traction? So and if it's not important, then we don't do it. We put it to a back burner and say we'll revisit when things are better, which is a perfectly good answer. We just need to understand that because it exists on paper today, but we want to either get traction or decide to put on a back burner. Would that be fair, Jawad?
Yeah, that'll be perfect.
Yeah, so Anu, I mean, if we want to have an open chiplets economy, one of the things that the most difficult aspects for people on the outside is understanding end to end who does what and what the cost model is. So even if you came up with a what do you call it, a toy project, and even if you don't actually produce a working example, just lining up the manufacturers and the costs end to end is informative.
Yeah,
Oh, that's an excellent point, John.
I see good value. So let's do that. Jawad, I guess our action is to send out a poll to, I guess, all members, and then
Yep.
that might get kind of complex, but I would say we would need to have some really good luck to try to hone in on time. Okay, sounds
Let's do that.
excellent. Thanks.
I have a quick question. Sorry, Anu and Joel. Do you have any pointer on what work has been done and things resolved, just so that we can understand it before the meeting?
Yeah, sure. We can get to the details. Yeah.
Thank you.
So yeah, JP has all of this archived. We will make sure to disseminate it to the team before we host the next meeting. That is a good point. Thank you, Durgesh. Thanks, JP and Jawad, for that update. So we're done with the proof of concept. We're going to move to the open chiplet, to the chiplet system workstream, because Rob has to leave in the next 11 minutes. So Durgesh, it's all yours.
Thank you, Anu. I'm going to start sharing. Hello, everyone. So this is the chiplet system work stream, which we have come here and talked a few times. So this shouldn't come as a surprise. This is more of a closure or kickoff, you can say. This is just what Anu already mentioned, that these are the existing work streams, and then we are forming the new one just for a reference. So I took her slides. This is she put together more as a visual diagram to again describe the problem statement real quick. So I think we have gone through it, so I'll be quick. And Itai mentioned some of the things which should be refined, and we will refine it. But the bottom line is that if you look at the bottom layers with UCIe, bunch of wires, a lot of discussion is going on, whether it's manageability, security. But on the upper layers, there is a challenge right now, especially if you have a multi-vendor chiplets which you're trying to put together. And OC is the best place to put that ecosystem so that the chiplet ecosystem grows, and hence it will be easier to bring new ideas into the market. Right now, chiplets are generally built by same company, all the chiplets within the package, and then they bring it out. So here is just showing the middle portion, which you see the performance, security, power, firmware. Those are the things you will start, and you will see that in next few slides. So this is what we agreed. So this is a single work stream rather than breaking it down into further work streams. And if needed, as we go through, we will do the midpoint checks. So we have Rob from AMD and Itai here. three of us will co-lead, which helps as we have day jobs and things get busier and we can depend on each other and get the work going. So focus area, the functional or interop, which is at the functionality level, or I called it as a digital level. So either way, that's the one group area, big group area. Then Rob brings a lot of expertise on the firmware and the firmware across various chiplets for starting from boot to system manageability, error conditions, and so on and so forth. And software, we have kept it active. There are some discussions, but we will, as we go through it, then we will bring some of the opens and issues or challenges with software as well. So we will, of course, ratify it as the work stream start, but where we mentioned is the system level challenges which we are trying to address in the multi-vendor chiplets. So that's the key, whether it's functionality, whether it's firmware, software, manageability, security, all of those things. That's where the challenge is, and that's where this will start. Again, on the this one is a previously used file. We will put it on the website, which is, I think, will be active pretty soon. So we will work on the standardizing and simplifying so that small vendors or small companies can also start building chiplets and plug in the ecosystem, and that definitely will help. Interoperability is another one, and then security, we had some discussions. Anu facilitated with some of the OCP groups, so that we will use, and then other list is power management, performance, debugging. So overall, I mean, the big summary or the high level summary is that when you go with multi-vendor, then there are problems, and how can we do it so that the vendors can work as independently as possible, because they can get some catalog chiplets ready and they can be reused. So that's the end goal. Okay, and then I'll pause here. I was just trying to limit in my 5 minutes so that everyone else gets the opportunity. So it is approved. The OCP IT team has set up all the emails and logistics. So we have co-leads. Itai is here, Rob Pelt from AMD. Itai, you want to say any few words in this, and then we can go to Rob and then continue further.
Hi, thanks, Durgesh. My name is Itai. I'm the CEO of GSOC Solutions. We are based in Israel, and we are developing a generic system on chip with the obvious interest in the chiplets. And I'm excited to join this work stream. I think it's highly important.
Thank you, Itai. Rob?
Yeah, hi, Rob Pelt. I'm AAD. I basically run the chiplet ecosystem stuff, so internal and external. That's all I do is chiplets all day and every day. So that's why this is a good focus for me.
Yeah, that's perfect. And I'm Durgesh. I am at MIPS. I joined MIPS a year ago as CTO. Prior to that, I was at NVIDIA for 3 years. I was part of the UCIe board also representing NVIDIA. And prior to that, I was at Intel out of college for 20 plus years, coming more from the silicon and systems background, and very much interested in chiplet, and especially being in a smaller company now, I want to see the growth of the chiplet ecosystems. So on the status, we already talked about the logistics. The IT team has done that. So we'll start building on it. Now, next steps is one of the hardest slot or the task is to find a weekly slot. In the beginning, our plan was to go weekly just so that we can converge on the charter, converge on the priorities and the deliverables. And then later we can decide whether we should go once in 2 weeks kind of thing. So that's the plan. We will ratify the charter and scope, as I mentioned, and it's always a good idea to have some deliverables and milestones, which we can come quarterly and review in this forum. But in the end, we have to define what does success look like, whether it rolls up into the POC item which we are discussing or something else. But that's definitely a good idea to think that what would be the end goal of the work stream so that we have a goal in mind and we achieve that. So I'll pause here. This was the last slide. And take any questions or for Itai, Rob, me, or Anu.
Hey, Durgesh, this is JP. I have a question. This work group is very interesting, what you're proposing. And regarding the software, are you thinking about developing some kind of APIs so different vendors, chiplets can be initialized or operated in the same way across vendors?
JP is a good idea. We have not gone through that level of detail. This came up in another forum, also API. So if you can join and help with some discussions and background, I think that'd be useful. APIs have plus and both pro and con. APIs are good because it makes it transparent, but then it's another ecosystem which needs to be developed. So let's discuss in the working group and see what's the best path forward. It's a very good idea.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
So we'll publicize the dates and times once the co-leads have figured out what works for them best. And then hopefully we'll get enough members being able to join in and some traction. If no more questions, then we can move on. Thanks for joining, Rob. And it's funny because you say you did chiplets all day. I always tell everyone my middle name is Chiplet. So I found that pretty funny when you said that. So.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Anu, just one quick comment.
yeah.
So this is Anshu Bahadur. I'm at SEMI now, which is the industry consortium, and we co-run a advanced packaging HI group, working group with the industry. So, I mean, the irrigation team can help publicize, and we have a lot of small companies participating. So can, attract more people or attention, whatever we need.
Absolutely. Thank you, Anshu. Appreciate it.
Sure. Yeah, that would be great. And you and I are connected anyway, so let's talk offline as well.
Okay, sure. Thanks.
Thanks, Durgesh. Moving on to the link layer. I'm just going to check my chat to see if anyone. Okay, I think everyone's okay with the timing. So let's go to link layer. I think Brian is here.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. Okay. Yeah. So let's see. It's almost 2 years at this point that we started the discussion on the control path spec, though I think it took a little while to get off the ground. And I'm happy to say that we're effectively closed on the content, as far as the working group attendance is right now, in terms of the feedback we've received. And so we have a separate doc right now that has the control path in it. And for those that don't know what the control path is, it's actually two protocols. One for basically a link layer for BOW sideband, lets you map any memory mapped transactions over BOW sideband, and then a separate link control protocol that lets you control the states and training, etc., of the BOW main band. And that link control protocol, from the spec perspective, is mapped on top of the BOW sideband protocol, but it can technically be mapped onto any sideband if you need to. It's just a handful of memory mapped registers. I just heard the discussion about APIs and things like that. So FYI, we do proof. These are some register specifications as well that would affect any kind of link APIs, link control APIs that you might envision in the future. So it would be good for if anybody authoring APIs, take a look at what we've written there. And so we're basically at a content freeze at this point. We've basically created a standalone document, and we'd love people to review that. We'll be integrating this into the main link layer spec as a separate chapter. So it required a little bit of additional wordsmithing and merging of some definitions and things like that, and some Microsoft Word magic. So that'll probably take a little while, but it's probably much easier to review from a content perspective in its separate document format. So if there's a way we can get that document in front of people in a way that makes it clear that this isn't for release, it's for trying to get comments on the content, that'd be really great.
So kind of a redline version type thing, right?
Sure. Yeah. Again, this is not something that we would necessarily publish. It's really just to get get feedback on.
Yeah. I'm not sure. I'll talk to Javad maybe offline.
Okay. But like I said, it'll probably take I don't know, between schedules and stuff like that, probably a month or more for us to get it integrated into the link layer itself. But hopefully, if people can take a look at the other document, we'll kind of do two things in parallel, because I don't imagine the actual functional content changing much in terms of integrating it into the link layer spec.
Okay, so Brian, is there a link you can paste on the chat now, or for?
Yeah, I think you guys can access the drive, so let me try that, and then.
Yeah, I'm not sure everyone can, so I don't. That's a good point. I think only the group members can. Maybe not. I don't know.
I think anybody can read, and I think Atai, I think I sent you a link a while back, right? You could read that, right?
Yeah, I could. Yeah.
Okay.
And I think maybe Atai could too. So then maybe everyone also can.
Let me try and generate a link, and I'll just post it in the chat. One moment.
Yeah, perfect. So this group's actually, as you said, they started this 2 years ago, but at a point where they're going to make this a contribution. So looking to Helia and Brian to present this at the server group. That would be, I think, next month. So because it's a monthly meeting, so hoping that we were able to get that in at the next meeting. Because it is a spec, and then that one I think needs to go to the next level of review to the steering committee eventually, right, Javad, because it's a spec. Javad, you're on mute if you're talking. Anyway, we'll figure that portion out. We'll see where that goes. But thanks, Brian. Is there any other update? He just sent the link, everyone on the chat. See if you can access that and let us know.
Yeah, I posted that in the chat. In terms of other updates, we've started discussion on the next version of the actual link layer itself. And that primarily is a small change that we discussed in previous meeting this week or is it last week, on adding additional potential physical mappings to the link layer. We'd like to investigate mapping the link layer on top of UCIe FDI, so that people can take advantage of all of our generic SOC disaggregation bus mappings on top of another physical layer. That conversation's gone pretty good so far. We've talked through a couple of different problems, but I think that'll be a that'll be a longer conversation in terms of actually implementing it. Though I think our goal, based on the again feel of the scope, which again is not locked down, is that I think most people are keen on doing something that takes a lot less time than the control path did, and so we'll I think we'll target something much more in the near term in terms of getting something out on that.
Yeah, no, I understand. I think that would make more sense also, given how people are actually starting to use it in the real life test cases or systems that need to use this. Time frame is probably pretty important. So makes total sense, Brian. Appreciate it. And we look forward to the contribution that we'll share with the community in the next month or two.
Great.
Thank you so much. Any questions for Brian? All right, thanks, Brian. Moving on to, I'm going to move to the CDX 3DK with David and James. We've got business test and the modularity after this, so it would be good to go through these fairly quickly. Thank you, everyone.
Good. Do you see my slides?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. I'm assuming that means you also hear me. Okay. Morning, everyone. My name is David Raskov, and we also have James Wong. We wanted to quickly cover the work that has been done and is ongoing at CDX. For those of you, I wanted to do a quick refresher on what we do. Our focus is on basically chiplet models, workflows, and things that would enable the chiplet ecosystem in terms of data exchange. And we have quite a wide list of people who contribute from the industry, including EDA providers, chiplet providers, assemblers, integrators, people. We are happy to work with everybody and get their contribution. I wanted to quickly refresh everybody on what we are doing, and one of the main things we work on is CDXML and putting in the descriptions for 3D ICs that cover different aspects of that. We call that the 3D IC design kit, or 3DK for short. We have completed 4 pieces of that: the chiplet design kit, the test design kit, and the material design kit and the assembly design kit. These 4 pieces are done. You can find them. Actually, I'll cover a bit more about that in the next couple of slides, just for a refresher. The other 2 pieces we're working on right now, we actually have done some work for SAPI already, and kind of trying to flesh it out into a white paper, and we'll be ramping up on the package DRM. On the what we recently did, and that was these contributions were published in late January or early February. These are the 3 design kits that we contributed. Looking at materials, how to define materials, assembly rules, and tests. Right, have a simple the description of test pins. You can find the contributions either by clicking on this link if you get the slides in a clickable form, or you can also open the QR code. Now, I wanted to highlight the contributors and thank everyone for their contributions. Now, most important thing I wanted to cover is, I think, and that's going to be relevant to some of you, the pieces that we are working on right now. The SIPI kit, basically what we are trying to capture is basic interface description, such that basically have the interface and the electricals that go with that interface, with the idea being is to enable early analysis and actually matching chiplets, matching interfaces, and so on. Excuse me. That work is kind of halfway through. We are finalizing the parameters. So hopefully after the summer we should be able to publish this. Package DRM, if you have done package work, you know how tedious it is to get a PDF file with all the design rules. We want to create that in a digital form and capture any items which are relevant to package design. You know, align space, stack ups, you know, any this is metal. Apologies for that. You know, density rules and so on. And at least we want to be able to load in tools as much as we can in terms of package design rules. And the last column that I wanted to highlight is that the discussion that was that happened early on about the test system, right? Proof of concept system. One thing we have been working on is a chiplet design and package design that is meant to demonstrate the workflows for integrating chiplets and the data exchange between different steps, right? Exchange for chiplets, right? Packages and so on. So we have been using that that design as a playground, you know, as a sandbox to explore what is actually working, what is not, and so on. So this is that discussion about having a proof of concept is very interesting to me and to us. So maybe this is something that we can collaborate on. And one thing I wanted to highlight is we do need help still. We are looking for help for test design kit 2.0. We have biweekly meetings on that, discussing what is the best way to approach that, because today chiplets from different vendors are not necessarily test compatible, right? And it's not entirely clear how do we approach that. So definitely need help with that. On the DRM, please do come by if you have experience with that. We are looking, what we are looking is to make sure that any constructs that we have in XML are sufficient to define any of your rules. We obviously don't want your proprietary information about what needs to be about the actual values, but we want to understand that the descriptions we have will capture that. And also on the demo design, we are struggling a little bit with availability of interfaces and resources. So if you can come by and help us out, that would be awesome. And for reference, we are meeting on Thursdays at 10 a.m. And the demo design meeting, which is actually a working meeting, where we discuss things, we look at RTL, we look at bump maps, things like that. That happens on Fridays at 9 a.m. Actually, just after this meeting.
Oh, sorry, just one quick question about the working meeting on Friday. Do you have the Zoom link in the wiki?
It's in the calendar. So we're using the same CDX Zoom link. That's the Thursday at 10 a.m. and the Friday at 10 a.m. is the same Zoom link. So if you go to the project calendar where it has all the meetings and you find CDX, you can use that link. I'm not sure if exactly the Friday meeting is advertised there, right? Because
it's not on there as a Friday meeting, Patricia, but I guess the link works. So
yeah, we have that as a kind of a sub-team meeting where people who actually do the work meet and discuss different issues. It's not really high level meeting. It's very low level, kind of into the weeds meeting. So please do come by and use the the Thursday CDX link.
Thank you.
thanks, David.
Thank you.
Any questions for David? This they made 3 contributions already, looking to do more. So this work is going really well. We do need to keep this alive and advertise it well because it's really valuable and important. And it's agnostic to a specific foundry or an OSAT, and I think that's what makes it that much more useful, because not everyone is tied down to a single foundry to do entire processes or to a single OSAT. People like to mix and match for pricing and other reasons. So this proves really useful. Thank you, David. Moving on to the business work stream, Marek and Raghu.
Yep, let me share my screen. All right. So yeah, I'll try to stay on time here. Let's see. All right, can you guys see my screen? Oh, I think it's.
Almost. It was almost there.
Yeah, I'll take the other one.
Yeah, you just share the other monitor.
Yeah, there we go. All right.
Yeah.
So just a quick update for what we've been up to for the last 3 months, say. I summarized our achievement and challenges here on one page. Most of last year, we've been focusing on converting this business challenges white paper that we had created and making a video series of learning modules out of that. We finished that in January and just before the Chiplet Summit. So that was widely circulated there, and we've also, or especially Raghu had put in a lot of effort trying to repost this in several groups on LinkedIn to just get more visibility for this. So feel free to check out those videos and like it and repost it if you like. Steve and Raghu have also presented at the Chiplet Summit specifically on this effort and the Open Chiplet Marketplace. And then the Open Chiplet Marketplace itself has been like online for a while, but it has gotten kind of a facelift. So I was just going to show that quickly here. So basically now there is a separate tile on the OCP on the OCP website that just talks about chiplets. And then when you click on that, you see basically everything that the Open Chiplet economy as a sub-project is doing, and I think it looks really nice visually. So Steve and the OCP team has put in a lot of effort there to make this look better. Then just coming back to some challenges, I think after we have spent or like basically finished these learning modules, I think it has taken us a while to think about what to do next, but we're converging on what to do, and I'll talk about that in a second. We were also struggling with the question of whether we should have a third repeat of a business challenges workshop, but in the end decided against doing that because we felt like the things that were being brought up are more or less repeated over and over. So we felt like it was more important to actually address some of the challenges there that are being discussed as like high priority issues for companies. So then talking about some next steps, the first thing that's in progress is making or taking these video series that we've put together and putting that or making that as a professional e-learning course that will be part of the OCP Academy. So just to give you a flavor of what that means, there is a separate company that is helping us basically take the content and giving it a like at least graphic like redo. So like slides that looked like this before are now kind of something looking like this. This is in progress and will hopefully be done even before the OCP local summit or like the summit in April. So we're making good progress there, and James from OCP has been putting a lot of effort in it, as well as me and Raghu. And the other piece that we're focusing on is pretty much aligned with this new workstream of systems for chiplets. One of the things that we realized also as being a business challenge is the chiplet compatibility and standardization. And what we're currently exploring is to basically reach out to a lot of chiplet vendors that currently advertise chiplets, and we want to put together basically a framework for showing compatibility through high-level simulations, such as using system C models of existing chiplets and an IP, such as die-to-die IP. So we're still like in the early phases of like figuring out how to do this. We just came up with a list of people to approach. If you want to help contribute in this, like we're meeting on Fridays at 9 a.m., like also right after this meeting. So yeah, that's kind of where we currently stand. Any questions?
Thanks, Marek.
Sure.
It's been a lot of work. The way Marek puts it, I think it doesn't express how much work it has been for him and Raghu and Steve and everyone to get these modules online and create this educational series. So if you get a chance, do take a look at it and provide some feedback. And then extending it to the new ideas here of the interop, which I think we're going to start talking about today after this meeting. Really good stuff. Thanks, Marek. Thanks, Raghu.
Sure.
Next up, we've got Rajesh, test. And we've got 8 minutes, so we have 2 groups, 4 minutes each if we can. Thank you.
Yeah, no, sure. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, so thanks, Anu. And this is a system in a test package white paper, which was released by OCP as a contribution. And that has led to the creation of this test workstream under Open Chiplet Economy sub-project. So preliminary charter has been worked upon. I think we presented, also got a very good response in the Chiplet Summit, that white paper, and also could recruit some of the good industry participants. Myself, Rajesh and Mike Bartley from TESOL, we are co-leading this effort. Especially there's a good integration because I come from a DFT background and Mike has a very good verification background. And the test workstream is trying to enable the efficient, hierarchical and cost-effective test techniques, workflows. Having me participated also some of the CDX work presented earlier by David. And for the chiplets in systems, in packages, and from all the way from fab to field to systems. So we are working on getting the alignment between this short-term task of white paper. We are actually working on a version 2 as per agreed by the group as an OCP contribution, which is of course a key activity. But on the long term, we are also trying to get the increased industry traction. And that was I wanted also to get these various stakeholders involved in this. And identify the important issues for the test community, especially under OCE. So currently we have active members from the companies like Teradyne, big participates. Intel, we have Boon-Chan. IAC Lab, actually I see Vijay online, Microchip, Jeremy, and TESOL. Of course, there are, at least apart from Mike, Yogan is there from India. Synopsys, we also have a co-author, which was a part of the January presentation. But we got some new test folks from Synopsys and Cadence. So we have covered EDA, design houses, and system integrators. So during our bi-weekly meetings, which is held on Wednesday, 9 a.m., we also, when we started working on this next version of white paper, we also had a brainstorming session. Especially a lot of good ideas have come up. Those sections will be part of the next version. And those are like test challenges in the photonics chips, especially PIC, and then mixed on board and packages with the EICs, electronic chips. And that's why I think Vijay is also going to talk about thermal. And chiplet interconnectors is going to become a challenge. I think I can see IEEE and some of the standard bodies, standard boards is already working. And we are trying to integrate those kind of upcoming standards into how we can do under OCE umbrella. Thermal and power issues in testing and test. And last but not the least, we are also trying to get the flood of test conditions, especially coming from bit weird from Teradyne. So in addition to these important topics, typical DFT strategies will be, of course, discussed, especially from service industry perspective. How are they going to use it? And we hope to enable also the experts of industry speakers to make this workstream relevant, in addition to working on the white paper. So stay tuned and give me or Mike buzz, and we'll be happy to get more participants. Thanks, Anu.
Yeah, no, thanks, Rajesh. I think the one thing that Jawad and I have to do is update the wiki page to reflect the Zoom link. We have the Zoom link now. We need to put that. I don't know if it's already been done, but I think that's on us to make sure you can get more participants in
Sure.
the meeting, and that it moves along nicely. Thank you, Rajesh. Appreciate the update.
Good. Thank you.
I have a question for everyone. We've got 3 minutes left, and we've got the HPC modularity. Do we want to do it now in these last 3 minutes, or push it into next week? I'm really sorry, Patricia, if we do push it into next week, because I don't want people to start hanging up. I think the HPC modularity work that you're doing is really very significant, and it's a really great example of how modularity can enable much faster systems to be built for specific functionality. So do you mind if I move yours to next Friday? Would you be able to come to the meeting?
Yes, I can make it next time. No worries.
Okay, because it wouldn't be fair to you to give you 2 minutes, because given especially our chat with you and George yesterday and the things, other people are saying next week. So next week we will continue. We will start with Patricia. We will do the D2D 5 with Cash and Kevin. And then I'm hoping Shahab makes it, but he is at OFC next week. Talk about the D2D metrics, and I'll send you the link to the white paper also to everyone. And then, of course, the open event with the discussion about the POC will be continued into next meeting. Please come with ideas, and let's make it real, because if you think about it, all of these work streams are connected in some way or the other very closely. And a proof of concept sort of realizes all of this in solid form. And I think it would be great if we can actually, as John said, even if it's not a real product, it's a dummy, but it's conceptually shows how to go through from the basic building blocks all the way to the end. So on that note, I want to thank all the workstream leads. I really appreciate it. I know it's a second job for all of you. I really appreciate the work you're putting in, leading your teams, and me harassing you trying to get these presentations. But it's important for us every quarter to know what's going on, so we can recruit more people or change directions as needed as seen by the collaborators and industry. Thank you all for your hard work. Thanks for participating today, and we will continue into next Friday. Bye, everyone.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye-bye.